All right, hang on. I'm going to actually get Maureen, co-host here. I turned off my camera.
Maria looks like she's glad to be here tonight.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes?
Yes.
I hope so. All right, great. Well, we're going to get started here, everybody. This is going to be a relatively short call because, as many of you are aware, we just got back from I know we've got a very small call here. We kind of let people know there probably wouldn't be anything happening tonight, but we want to But I'm going to talk to everybody just.
You're
Mark,
breaking up.
I can't hear you.
You're breaking up.
Yeah. You're frozen. There's Miss Ann.
Hello, long time no see.
Sorry, signal's going in and out here. So
Yeah,
you're on here too, so I'm gonna make you co-host as well. So share. I'm just gonna go through lifestyle getaway.
We can't hear you, Mark. You can't hear it.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Kind of in and out.
All right. Well, we're driving, so our signal's going in and out. I hope everybody can hear me, but if not, I'm gonna hand it over to you two ladies to share what this weekend was like. I think really the biggest thing that I've learned from this weekend was overcoming fear. And, you know, many of us may have fear in our business. So, and can everybody hear me okay? All right, good. Many of us may have fear in our business because we're worried and we sometimes expect the worst outcome because we don't want to be, we don't want to be shocked. And so a lot of times what's happening in life is that we start anticipating the worst case scenario. I'm going to kind of give everybody an example because on this past trip to the lifestyle getaway, I was a little bit apprehensive about riding horses. I'd never ridden a horse before, and I'll tell you the experiences that really kind of led to my having a little bit of that fear. First off, last year, Danielle went on the horseback riding, and she got off the horse afterwards, and she was lame for like 4 months because she was on a wide horse and it hurt her hips. And secondly, she was telling me about how she was going along on the horse trip and they had to walk on the side of a cliff, and I'm terrified about that. And then the horse walked her into a tree, and she literally had scratches all over her arms. And so I'm looking at this, I'm like, that doesn't sound very appealing to me. And this year I said, okay, well, great. I'm gonna tackle that fear. I'm gonna ride the horse. And then as soon as we get to the airport, we run into the group coming back, and we see Maureen there, we see Yuri there, we see Madiba there, and you know the funny thing is, oops, hang on, I want to see if I can mute everybody here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So anyway, we get there this year, and the first group goes out. Okay, hold on, we gotta mute again. Okay, if everybody could keep your phones muted, that would be awesome because that's gonna interrupt our signal and so forth. But anyway, but long story short, we get to the airport and I hear Yuri talking about how, you know, I didn't know that this was going to be so terrifying. Because I went horseback riding and here we are walking on the edge of a cliff. And he goes, he said he heard the people behind him, they're saying, hey, what's Yuri doing? And he goes, I think it was Blake or Zach said, I think he's praying. And Yuri goes, no, I'm singing hymns. So Yuri was literally terrified. I'm seeing this big guy who is, you know, expressing his fear of what it was like. And then I'm watching a video they show me of Madiba who's running on a horse and he falls off the horse. And then Maureen gets off and we hear that Maureen went horseback riding and that the horse walked into a tree and knocked Maureen off and knocked her unconscious for a couple of minutes. And she's got scratches all over her arm. We see her there at the airport, and I'm like, this doesn't sound appealing at all. we get to down to the camp. I shouldn't say the camp, but down to the lifestyle getaway, the lodge. And so as we're there, and the first group goes out on horseback riding, and we went out on the jet boat, and we got back from the jet boat after having a great time. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to overcome my fear. I'm going to go do this. And then we hear Bill, one of the cowboys, come up and say, one of the members just got injured on a horse. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So apparently one of the horses tried to kick the horse behind it because he was riding, and it hit a gentleman named True in the ankle. It cut his ankle. Literally take him into the hospital just for treatment, just for safekeeping. He's doing great now. But I'm hearing all this and I'm thinking, this does not sound like a fun time. So having the guts to do it. I'm watching Blake's 5-year-old or 6-year-old, and she had the guts to do it. And I'm thinking, there's no way that I can not do this because I'm going to look like the biggest wimp who's ever walked the face of the planet. So I decided to give it a try. I told them I had not experienced anything like horseback riding. So they said, all right, come with me. And they gave me Tommy. Tommy was a big horse. He looked like a Clydesdale. I mean, he was big. And I mean, I literally I didn't know my legs could spread apart that far. But I had to sit on Tommy, and we went on this ride. And I have to tell you, it was one of the most fun things that I had done while I was there. Obviously, we had a great time whitewater rafting, but we walked along the cliff, and the cliff wasn't that bad. And we walked past those trees, and we didn't go into the trees. And we went down, and by the end of it, it was like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. Because what had happened was I had created this scenario in my mind that it was going to be terrifying just based upon other stories and creating in my mind a really scary situation. But when I did it, and I found out it wasn't that bad, it was an eye-opener for me, and it made me even want to do it again. And this comes down to business because so many of us have fear in our hearts when we want to call up somebody and talk to somebody because, number one, maybe we don't know what to say. Secondly, it might be something that we don't know how they're going to respond. And we always sometimes start thinking the worst case scenario, that they're going to, not respond to me well. Maybe they're going to, I'm going to lose my friendship, or maybe I'm going to be sounding salesy and push my friends away. And these are the things that we're thinking. Instead of us thinking that way, we need to be thinking of success, and we need to be thinking of our victory and really what our true cause is. And that's empowering people with this membership. People deserve to know about this, everybody. And sometimes our fears that we create in our mind can be a lot worse than it is in reality. And I just wanted to stress that because I think that that's such an important lesson that we've learned. And I know Maureen's going to share a little bit about her story and literally how they made her get back on there. I'm not going to tell her whole story, but I got to tell you, it was one of the best experiences. We had a lot of firsts on this trip. I actually had a chance to go out shooting with Rob and Mel. I'll show you, I'm riding with them right now. Here's Rob over there. And there's Mel in the back, and there's Danielle. And we're on our way to the airport to fly on the red eye, but I'd never fired a gun, believe it or not. And I was like, geez, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but we went out and we had fun. And again, the negative thoughts that were in my head never came true. Everything seemed a lot easier when I actually went out and did the activity. And it's the same thing here. Don't let your mind be the obstacle that's going to hold you back from going out and achieving greatness. Don't let fear hold you back from going out and doing things that maybe you've never done before, because those life experiences can truly be some memories for a lifetime. And that right there is exactly what happened on people. We saw Ollie and Luke and Justin. We had never met in person before. And I can see Ollie on here as well. And I know I'm going to ask him to share his story too. But we're at the airport. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually ask Maureen to first come on and talk, and then Annie and Ollie, if you wouldn't mind sharing what your experiences were. I'm going to hand the host over to you, Annie, because just in case I lose my signal, I don't want the entire thing to drop. So give me 1 second, and then, you can just simply unmute, and there you go. Handing the host over to you. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Maureen. Maureen, if you could tell your story, that would be awesome because it was extremely inspiring. I have so much respect for you. Whitewater rafting and falling out of the boat. And actually, I'm stealing your story, but I'm going to let you tell it, and then I'm going to let you hear from Andy and Ollie and anybody else who was on that trip to chime in. But I appreciate everybody's time. I apologize, my time's short, but you've heard enough from me. So we're going to go check into the airport, and I'm going to listen as everybody is hearing these incredible stories. So hand it over to you, Maureen.
Okay, well, we had a great evening last night with Mel and her husband and Mark and Danielle. We went out to dinner. We got to share stories and have some fun and talk about a little bit about our future with 7K. And then Steve and I got up this morning and got in the car, went for about 20 minutes and met with Anne and Ollie and Luke and Beth and Justin, and that was just delightful. We came home all smiles because these guys are they're just fabulous. And to think that they're on our team and we're all a team together is so exciting. And I think most of you heard me when I came back. I know that Mark and Danielle were on their way there. And everybody else was on their way there when Curtis was on Coffee with Curtis and asked me to share our story. So yes, I did fall off the horse. Yes, I did fall off the raft. But you see me here today and I'm just fine. And my grandkids now think I'm, excuse me, badass. I'm a great grandma, and I'm doing these things. But when I fell off the horse, I will share with you that Zach was right there. I mean, the cowboys all came. My husband jumped off his horse, ran over. He just said today to everybody that seeing me laying on the ground in the dirt scared him to death. We've been married 56 years and he didn't know what was going to happen. And he ran over and, what happened. And then they pulled me up to my feet. My feet were very shaky. And Zach was standing right across from me, eye to eye with me. And he said, okay, how are your legs? And I said, not good. And then he said, how's your butt? And I guess there's something about your tailbone or something, I don't know. And I said, that's all just fine. I got to take a minute because I'm pretty shook up and I hit my head pretty hard on the ground. But then Zach looked straight at me and he said, Maureen, you got to get back on the horse. And I'm like, no, I don't. Ain't gonna happen. I know how far we are. It's not that far. I'll walk. And he said, nope, it's not going to happen. You got to get on the horse. And I was like, I don't think I can get on the horse. But with the help of the cowboys and the help of Zach and my husband pushing me from behind, I got back up on the horse. And am I going to be excited to get on another horse? Next year, I'm going to meet you guys there, Annie and Ollie. And we'll go riding together again, but I might wait until that year. And I totally agree with Mark in the fact that, sometimes we get up all our courage to talk to somebody that we think highly of, and they blow us off. So next time that happens to you, they say, oh, that's one of those things. That's network marketing. That's, oh, you're getting into something bad. Get back on the horse immediately. It's much more important to talk to somebody right after someone has said no than it is later on, because you start thinking all these things in your head. And if you just go on to the next person, and even if they say no, that's just getting you closer to the yes. And I've always known that, it takes so many no's to get to a yes. So when you look at it like that, you just check it off and you say, okay, I'm closer. And all of a sudden you get a yes. And our company wants us to not have fear. That's why they create all the tools that they create for us. They create this adventure. I have to say, for me, it was high adventure. It really was. I never pictured myself. My idea of camping is Motel 6. My idea of vacationing is a 5-star hotel. So going down an hour and a half down a dirt road to catch a boat over to another place that's all rocky. It wasn't my idea of excitement, but it was so much fun. I highly encourage you guys to look for that as it comes out next year, and then ask somebody how to help you earn it, because that's our job. Mark and Danielle earned it 2 years in a row. I guess we're gonna have to do it too. And we'll tell you which horse not to get on. Okay. But it was so fun to meet Annie and Ollie today in person. I mean, we couldn't get enough with them. We smiled all the way home from talking to them because they get it. And you know what we're all looking for? Every single person that I see right now, we're all looking for the person who gets it, who gets what this company is about. Once you've spent a few days with the owners, you'll really get it. But take our word for it. I know Annie's going to share with you, Ollie's going to share with you what they got from this time that they spent with the owners of the company. In my over 50 years in the industry, well, not 60 years, but I mean, over 50, it's like 52 years. I've never had an experience with owners like this. I never have. I've never had experience where they treat everybody. It doesn't matter, Terry, if you just joined the company or if you're, you've been with them for 3 years. When you get there, they're so excited to see you. They don't care what your title is. They care that you're part of the family and the family's on a trip. That's how they treat you. And to me, that's the way it should be. That's absolutely the way it should be. So Annie, what do you want to tell people?
Thanks, Maureen. I'm actually going to let Ollie go first.
Okay.
But
ladies first. Ladies first.
I can
As in,
say
I'm going to be.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be go ladies first.
I'm going to leave like that.
But thank you so much, Maureen, for sharing that. It was wonderful to have
So
some time
cool.
with you today.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So I'm going to lead in and say, Maureen, you're lovely, and you're a beautiful man, Steve. And I just want to say this to each of you. Wow, what an experience. We've had a whirlwind experience for the last, what is it, week or something like that. Melissa's here as well. We hung out with Mel, trying to find some car. Did you find your car keys? Where were they?
One of the ladies that was there picked them up, and she found them on Saturday.
Wow.
So your intuition was correct. They were in the building.
Bingo.
Oh, there you go.
Good one. So let me take that strand and ask each of you, like, just take a second to check in with yourself as well. How much do you trust intuition, or I'm going to say God or spirit or whatever you call it? How much do you trust that? That's a question to all of you to reflect on. Do you believe on some level that you got here to this call and to 7K because it was in your divine path, right? Divine timing. Just give me a head nod if that's you. Right? It's like, how did I get here? How did this go? Right? So then think about this one. If that is like a lightning bolt, just feel that in your body of energy, of possibility. How are you, please write this down on your piece of paper so you can explore it. How are you getting in your way of creating from that lightning bolt of spiritual energy that's coming through you, that is saying, let's share this with the world and enlighten and enroll, not sell. That's the big difference I put forward as well. Enrolling is a very different energy if you feel that. Enroll, not sell. And please write that down. How am I getting in my way, or how am I getting in spirit's way, delivering this message? So For me, this whole trip to Salmon Lodge, like it was a given, it was just going to happen. As soon as I saw it, I was like, whatever it takes, we're going. And I say we because Denisa, my amazing other half, she couldn't come because her visa is a bit more complicated when it comes to the States. But we came along. We knew we'd do whatever it would take to go there. And Spirit told me very, very clearly, we're going to have really intimate time with the founders, as Maureen shared as well. They're beautiful humans. I think every single one of them has been on a mission to everywhere, from Korea to you name it. Their families are incredible, everybody. We got a chance to spend some time with, like, Jared, for example, who's Josh Anderson's brother. He was driving our boat and he's taking the best line ever. So they learned from Maureen falling out of the boat and they took us on the safe line, basically, everybody, right? And so our one seems like the safe, but the different trip. But here's one thing I want to encourage this from each of you: think bigger. Julie's on here. She's got the think bigger thing as well. So what I decided to do is get out of my own way and let Spirit come through, and invited a number of the founders, everybody, to come on a call together. So picture this. You've got Josh Anderson. We're just interviewing Josh. It's only Josh, right? So Josh is by himself. The next thing you know, Blake comes in. Like one of our team, I think it was Luke, was inviting Blake in. So Blake comes in. Then you have Jason coming in, and then you have Richard coming in as well. Before we knew it, everybody, we managed to create this interview. This is thinking bigger, with basically all of the founders minus Roger Ball. We're sitting around a table, we're interviewing them as well. This was just a little tiny vision, if you just reflect on that for a second, about creating something incredible with the founders. Why think bigger? I could think for me, Annie could think for her, Maureen could think for her, you could think for you. But what about if you thought for the whole company? Just reflect on that one for a second, everybody. And you thought, how could we uplift every single member in this company? Please write it down as well, just so you can reflect on it. Don't want to sound bossy. I know you just met me, but I think you'll love it. And take it with the English accent, receive it, and the love that's intended, right? How could I uplift everybody, every single person in the company? Because if you think bigger, it's actually easy. It's as easy to think big, everybody, as it is to think small. Believe you me, this might sound crazy, but to receive $1,000 or to receive $1 million, it ain't that different. You're kind of selling a similar thing, but you're just selling it on a bigger level. And I know it might sound crazy. You're like, no, but to have all the founders in there versus one of the founders, it's just the same thing repeated. And let me just repeat that for the sake of emphasizing it. It's the same thing repeated. And so here's what happened next. Me, Annie, and a number of others, we said, what else can we create while we're down here? And we had just done the Salmon Lodge visit, and it was incredible. And we said, what if we go and see the headquarters, everybody? I'm not saying everybody's going to do this, but what if we go and actually physically see the headquarters while we're down here? We put it out to Jason. Always ask, and you never know what it's going to create. And the next thing you know, that evening, we're heading from Salmon Lodge, picture this, all the way down to Idaho Falls to go and see the headquarters of 7K. And we're standing outside the office, and every single one of us has got goosebumps. And it was the most incredible experience seeing the office. You know, seeing Blake's name on the team. We met Jason's wife. Like, everything is just being created. Is this making sense, everybody? Just tell me, give me a head nod if you're still with me. I'm just seeing like some faces, like some processing, and I just want to check that I'm not giving you too much all at once. So we go to the office. We have this guided tour around the office, right? We learn all sorts of amazing things about the company. We learned, everybody, that they're expanding like crazy. We spoke briefly about the card. You've all heard about this debit card that's going to be payments in gold and silver, right? So finding out about that. And we can see that they're expanding like visibly as a company. It's super exciting. I'm not going to go into the 9 layers of vaults and security and all that kind of stuff, but let me tell you, if anyone questions any of you about how secure this is, or all of you here have some gold and silver, take great comfort in knowing it's very well taken care of. Does anyone, give me a show of hands if you're in Idaho? You're in Idaho State. Yeah, you know it's quite protected, right? As a state, let's just say that. So it's like safe hands. What else can I impart on this journey with you as well? If you will allow yourself to get out of your own way and Spirit to come through and share this from a heart level as well. Here's how I approach this. I called my family up earlier and I said to my mum and dad, you absolutely have to do this with me. It's non-negotiable. If you say no to me now related to 7K, I'm going to come back in even stronger next time. In fact, I'll just say it to you how I feel it. You're going to have to get a gun to my head because I'm going to be so persistent about the love and the energy of this incredible company that I'm going to keep sharing it, because this is a legacy company. And this can pass down for generations to generations to generations. So I hope, we're a little bit tired here on this journey, like recovering, a lot of us here. And I have a little bit of alcohol by accident in my system, which is not usual, but well, yeah. I had a coffee with alcohol in it. I was like, yeah, I'm usually coming in a different place. But I want to say this to you. Let's just say this on recording. Be persistent. And please write this down again. Be persistent as fuck with the people that you really love. And I really mean it. You need that to land. Be persistent as fuck with the people you really love. Do not. Luke is here with us in the house. I've shared other network marketing businesses with Luke for about 6 months before he came in. So some people will take time. You need to water their garden, give them a lot of exposure, a lot of love, a lot of exposure, get the coins into their hands. Mel's here. Mel's got an amazing collection that we saw the other day. We had some good hangouts. And remember, you share because you really love this business and you want to change lives. There's a big difference, everybody, between 90% certainty and 100% certainty. If you need 100% certainty, look at the wonderful Maureen. She's one of them. Look at me, look at Anne, look at Mark and Danielle as well. We've got you. Just ask and we'll help. Yeah.
Love
Big
that.
difference.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, well, let's see. So many things. And I didn't actually know we were going to be talking tonight. So I would say for me, well, we were taking a walk in this beautiful neighborhood where we're renting an Airbnb, and Ollie asked me and Luke, what do you know for sure? What do you know for certain? Because we're all processing a lot. And that is such a powerful question to ask oneself, I've found over the years. And the first thing that came to mind was, I trust the founders and the corporate leaders of this company, like beyond a shadow of doubt. I know that for sure. I kind of already felt that way before Salmon River, but then, the next thing for the horseback riding, I wasn't as scared because I've been horseback riding before, but the guys went in for round 2 to trot in the, like whatever the plateau was or whatever, which I've done before, but only in an open field. And there were a lot more obstacles this time. And so I said yes to that. And then partway through, I was definitely like, maybe I shouldn't have done this, because I was getting nervous and it just required a little more command of the horse and faith than I anticipated. But afterwards, well, Josh was like a little higher above us with somebody on the hill. And he basically, all of the guys, the corporate guys and the cowboys, they were paying very close attention to what was going on with each of us. And I thought I was like trying to control this horse by myself, but they were like, well, I heard you screaming, so I went to check and you looked fine. So you were fine.
It was some good screaming.
But there were definitely it was preemptive. I was just nervous. So anyway,
you did really well.
I did. Thank you. I did do well. But it was very clear to me that they were watching everything and really making sure that we were safe. And, yes, there were some injuries, but generally speaking, we are a family. They're part of our family. And for me, it was very similar to some of my uncles or whatever. So that was very comforting. And also we had occasion to hear more sort of deeper stories, personal stories from them about why they are so focused on doing this and sharing in this way through 7K, sharing with people through 7K. And so that was very inspiring to me. For me, I said this to Maureen this morning, I really didn't, I feel a little bit like the accidental, they have that phrase, the accidental tourist. I think that's a movie. I feel a little bit like an accidental leader, like it kind of just happened. And I also know it is, of course, it's a reflection of lots of work that I've done over the years. And just being around their leadership, seeing how they behave with people, hearing their perspectives on things, it's giving me a different sense of okay, how can I make this my own? And certainly, like anything, anytime that we're doing like something that's physically challenging, it becomes a metaphor for everything else. So I would echo basically everything that Ollie and Maureen said. And Mark, I had a few moments of dialogue with myself about, okay, how can I create a sense of safety for myself in an uncertain situation? And just keep showing up and being open and curious. But their sense of their devotion to being of service was practically palpable. And I just, in this time on the planet with so much being so topsy-turvy, to say the least, I feel very anchored by the strength of this group of people. And I feel like I keep referring to the guys, but Christy was also there. Christy, who is Roger's daughter, and she's a very powerful leader as well. And so I felt really anchored by that and strengthened by that, and grateful. And we are here as part of that leadership. All of you are, we are, we're all part of this movement. And it's really pretty remarkable to be around a group of people and a company where what they say it is it's that and so much better. Ollie and I have both been in the entertainment industry before. I still believe in the sacredness of that, and I know you do as well. And there are a lot of times when like what's going on behind the scenes is different from what's going on in front, right? And this is not that. It's not that. So it feels amazing to be able to carry that forward. And is there anything else? I guess also maybe the teamwork aspect. Like we've been on a team since Ollie and his people have joined, but this was the first time we met, and we were on a road trip basically for a week together with the group. So it was also a beautiful opportunity to navigate how do we work together and cater to different people's strengths and strengths and whatever. So that's a beautiful thing, because as we each build our teams, we're going to be finding the way that Carmen builds and what her strengths are might be different from mine, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's a beautiful opportunity as well.
I want to say this on a practical level for all of you as well, and beautiful shares by Anne as well. And let's just check in energy wise as well. Everybody feeling good? Like, show us where you're at as well. Thumbs up. Zoom's a bit funny like that because you don't know. Yep. Yeah. And come on camera if you can. You know why? Because when you're on camera, you have to focus more. It's one of those things. If you focus more, you get better results. So you got another life coach in your camp here alongside Anne, right? And I want to encourage each of you to be unashamedly sharing yourself, right? Not just 7K. Take note of this, everybody. Share yourself and 7K. If you get it right, be the messenger of fun. Sometimes we don't make this, I call it network loving rather than network marketing. Who wants to be marketing? Let's get network loving, right? So just call up people, have a laugh, have fun. My style's a bit different. I will go to traveling around, digital nomad, coffee shops, things like that. So have a big adventure and have fun. I used to walk up and down in Mexico when I was out there, I was living out there by a pool. And that pool was my inspiration for tropical life, freedom, all of these things. You got to put yourself in the environment that has you get great results. Does everybody get that? So just by you getting to Salmon Lodge, if you're going to come, or Dominican Republic, you're going to be in proximity, and proximity is power. Proximity is power. Not the Trump kind of power, the real power, like the internal power and everything. And I'll just share this because this is a bit more left brain statty stuff if you've got skeptical stuff. So Terry, Maria on camera, Carmen, I'm calling you out because you're on camera, amazing. This is really good. Did you know, everybody, it takes 8 months typically on average to do each coin? Did you know that?
Minimum. So
they've done their talk about doing one a little bit faster that we can't mention right now, but most projects are 8 months. And 100 people roughly per project. So the next time somebody says to you, collectibles and they can't film inside places like CIT Mint, one of the main mints where they mint that. Even people like Blake can't take cameras and things in there. It's very secretive. It's very private if you're wondering about that process and how it works. But we feel very assured in terms of how much silver, this is for the left brainers, they have, and how much ability they have. They've planned and mapped this out, everybody, for the coming years to come. So if you or one of your friends wants to put some money in Sam Money Wallet, right, non-financial advice or any of that stuff, you should feel very relaxed. I hope you do, in saying to friends, you can do this, put this money in, turn it into gold and silver. And let's remember this, where else can you buy back that gold and silver so easily and at a good price? And this came up on retreat as well, really good one. When somebody comes in, we can all send them, let's say like $3 or $5 of gold and silver. Just think about that idea. I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's a really cool concept, right? You're like, here's Sam Money Wallet, get verified. And Maria goes, you know what? I'm just going to send you your coffee in silver. I don't know, just go on. Like, have fun, have a play with it. And almost, I think the last thing to say to you is this. I remember speaking to Blake in the evening with Justin, my friend who's here. And I remember Blake going, everybody, like until super late at night. He's like almost like, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, even on recording, going and going and going and pushing and pushing and pushing. And Josh Anderson has said by his own right, he's not an evening person, a night owl. Here's Josh answering my questions till late at night. Here's Blake doing that. Can you see the clues? These are people that don't need the money, that are here out of passion and purpose, and they love this. And when they say, we believe in you, they really freaking mean that with all their might. That might sound cheesy to some, but it's like a real, we believe in you.
Yeah. And so do we. And I want to say that, you know, as a sort of take home message, I really encourage each and every one of you to get with, you know, one of us that, or whoever, and create a plan so that you can be on the next trip. Because even I know that there were people, I almost didn't go. I truly almost didn't go.
Really?
Yep. And there were other people on my team, you know, I'm just like, it's a thing. These are things that you just never know what's going to happen and how it's going to have a ripple effect on your life and your business. And it's designed that way. So I'd invite you to say yes to the opportunity and the invitation. And like Ollie says, just, you know, make the magic happen, make a way out of no way, you know? And like Maureen said, we're here to help you.
Nice.
That's exactly what we're here for. And we have a great team of people that are willing to help upline, downline, crossline, every which way. Because as Ollie said, when we help someone in 7K, we help the company. And when we help the company, we help us all. And so it doesn't matter who sponsored you or who your upliner, downliner, sideliner, whatever is. Just find out where we're at and ask us what you need, because that's what we're here. It truly is. And Mark and Danielle do the training every Monday night at this time. We have a bronze call that will be coming up very shortly. And then we have our regular corporate call. And I'm sure they have some really fun announcements for us. And I invite everybody to keep digging into this company, because there are layers that it's taken me almost 2 years to dig into those layers of what this company's doing. Whether it's people who are buying coins and then turning and flipping them, or just building a big stack for themselves, or bringing on people, and they're changing their minds all the time. So just because someone tells you something, next week, they could be at a totally different place. So don't take what they tell you today to be what they mean next week. Because next week, maybe their job will change. Maybe their finances will change. Maybe their family situation will change. And all of a sudden, 7K is the answer to their prayer. And, you know, if we can be there and we can share, and until you're really comfortable sharing, use us. And we'll do whatever we need to help you. So the last 2 days has been really fun, being with Mark and Danielle and Mel, and then being with you guys this morning for breakfast. That was fabulous. Made a great start to my week. And, you know, we're always starting new with 7K. We just finished this. Now, where are we going to go? Come with us. That's my invitation. Just come with us and don't ever quit. That's the only way you fail, is if you quit. If you stay, you're probably going to get paid, and then you'll get paid more.
And if you've got the right vehicle, and here's the thing about it as well. I was talking to my dad about this earlier on the phone. You'll feel this one and feel into it and create through your own eyes and your own body around this one. Pathological certainty, everybody. If you have pathological certainty, it will move the world. We can't guarantee anything. But if you imagine this, right? If a cake, and Maureen, I know you get this through and through, like okay, so maths formula, right? Do we all agree that there's a formula? 11 plus 11 equals 22, right? There's a formula. So if all the ingredients are there that make a good company, if they're clear, if they're transparent, if they're audited, which they are, they have insurance, all the rest of it, they have everything looked after as well. And then still after all of that is done as well, as Maureen says, it comes down to like this belief and never giving up. And that's where you can do the never giving up, right? Because the never giving up in the wrong company, in the wrong vehicle is the dangerous thing. We just want to, and don't come back to us on it. Do your research on it. And I don't mean that in a way that we're not certain about it, but just know that we have something really good and do the deep digging, like Maureen said, you know, never give it up. You've got this.
Yeah. So we're just a few minutes out of the bronze call. And if you're not at the bronze level yet, we do the bronze call the first Monday of every month, and they give us a little bit of an insight to what they might be doing in the next few weeks. And then we go straight into the corporate call. So I invite everybody to join us on the call on the next, join us by becoming a bronze when it fits your timing. And also be on every Monday night's corporate call. If your timing's not right for where you live, then it's always recorded. Takes about a day. Those calls are really important because that's where you get to know the Jasons and the Blakes and the Zachs and the Joshes. You get to know them because you see them all the time. And Carmen, I love your smile. Yeah, when you're on, whether it's 9 o'clock in the morning or on coffee, or you're here, you just have a smile, even when you're not smiling. It's beautiful. Thanks for getting on, guys. And I think Mark and Danielle are probably going through I'm not sure they're even still on, but I'm excited to be on with our new friends. All of our new friends. I can't wait to meet you, Maria and Terry. I know I've met you, Lisa. Sandy, Sandy is my techie person. And Julie, I haven't met you yet, but I can't wait to meet you all in the next spot that we get together and really get to know you. And go ahead, Ollie, close it out.
Remember that you are, every single one of you, the greatest love that you'll ever seek. Then remember that energy speaks. And as you be the energy that you desire to create in the world, so that energy is created, if you feel that, everybody. As you put out, I have something magical to offer, so Anne, so Maureen, so everybody here feels that energy. Remember that you are the energy that speaks, right? With that connection up above, sideways, all the rest of it. Love you guys. And see you soon.
Beautiful.
Thank
Love you all, and we'll see you either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Much
So
love. Night,
Thank
everyone.
you.
reach out to us.
you.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.